Hey, how's it going? First off, I want to apologize for my actions for the past week. I wasn't on my meds, or I wasn't on enough meds, because I had to decrease my milligram level. And I've been quite insane. And we had a huge rainstorm, so I had to spend most of my time inside, which is not like me. Usually I'm out in the woods. And when I'm out in the woods, I find presence and love and clarity. And when I'm inside too much, I become insane. And for further reference, you should never listen to any of my videos when I'm inside, because I'm not speaking the truth of the ancients or existence or God, if you want to call it God, whatever you want to call it. Speaking from the trauma or the person or Joe Northrop. So that person can't be trusted, and what that person says cannot be trusted, because that person is not present and he's speaking from trauma. And whenever you're speaking from trauma and whenever you're not present, you're speaking for man, creation, desire, fear, exist. You're not speaking for existence. You're speaking for the desires of man and what you want, what the person wants, which is very harmful for society, culture, and the further progression of love in this world, because it's the opposite of love. It's selfish desire, fear, anger, wanting. And in the last couple of days, I've been very angry because I haven't gotten what I've wanted. One of the worst things that could happen to a person is when you feel like you are going to attain something and that something is taken away from you. So for instance, if I start a YouTube channel and it's doing very successfully and hundreds of people are watching the videos, and then all of a sudden that is taken away from me, and then all of a sudden 6 people are watching my videos instead of hundreds, I am going to feel hurt and wounded, because it's a personal hurt against me, that my message originally was getting to hundreds of people and now it's getting to 6 people, and those 6 people are always the same people. And it hurts, because it's like, well, if I can't function in the society and I'm deeply paranoia or I have levels of psychosis where I go into rages and I want to kill people, I can't be around society. So what am I going to do for the rest of my life? I'm going to make videos in solitude, because I have to imprison myself to be away from people. So if my message isn't getting out to people, then what's my value? What's my worth? What am I doing here? And that's very sad if it's not being seen or heard by people. And then you have to figure out, like, okay, what should I do from now on? And you could run through that in your mind, and it always comes back to, well, I can't leave my house. I could clean the dishes. I could sweep the floors. I could be kind and loving to the people I'm around. I could have a great relationship with the people around me. And I could mow lawns. But what else is there? And when you can't be around people and when you can't be around society because you have severe paranoia, or you think people are out to get you, or you're scared of people, or when you feel judged by people and they make you feel lesser than, you want to kill them, if that's your overall schema, then you're most likely not going to be able to go out in society and be around people. And that's what my life has been since I've been very young. So what do I do? What should I do from now on? The answer for me is making these videos. And when a month ago my videos were doing very well, I felt like I had something to live for. And then when that was taken away from me, and only a couple people were watching my videos, I felt deeply wounded and angry and sad. And then I was running out of meds, and I had no way to get my meds, so I stopped taking my meds. Then I became violently angry, because when I don't take my meds, I become very psychopathic and angry and depressed. Thankfully, I'm back on my meds now. Some of us need to be on meds, man. There's no joke. Like, some of us need to be on meds. Some of us need to be on SSRIs. Some of us need to be on Depakote, lithium, very small amounts of lithium, by the way. I don't want you to destroy your liver. But, you know, some people, we need to be on meds. I learned in college when I was in this abnormal psych class, we were going over mental illness and people who were schizophrenic and had personality disorders back in the 17 and 1800s who lived in Europe. And they said back then you were better off not to be noticed by people, because if you were thrown into asylums or prisons or killed because you were so bizarre, then your life was going to be horrifically bad. So if you were mentally ill back in Europe in the 17, 1800s, it was better off to not be noticed. So, so yesterday I was hanging out with somebody, and I didn't feel loved. And I went to bed last night, and I didn't feel quite right. Like, things weren't right when I went to bed. And then I woke up this morning, and I turned on my TikTok channel to free up some space, because TikTok takes up a lot of my space, and my phone's very old. And the only people that I really follow are these cute little kittens that dance around, and they're really adorable. And they're like munchkin cats, I think. And I realized that when I was looking at those kittens, I was so happy and I felt so loved. And I felt so warm inside that I said to myself, that's all people want. People just want to feel loved, and they want to feel happy and feel cared about and nurtured inside. And that's it. And in the last week, I've been screaming at people and cursing at people, threatening them to, like, watch my videos, buy my books, because I've been deeply wounded and pissed off, and I've been in trauma, and I've acted out that trauma on the world. And that's a very bad thing to do to other individuals, because the only thing that an individual should be on this planet for is to be loving and to make sure the people around them are cared about and nurtured. And I was doing the exact opposite of that in the last week. And that's all life really is. To be loving, to be nurturing, to have a good relationship with everything around you and feel connected to everything around you. And the only way to do that is wake the hell up and realize that the only existence you have on this planet is to be present enough and connected enough to everything where you could be in that loving space, where you could dissolve the selfish desires, where you are no longer a person, and you could eliminate the desires and the fears that you have and just be with everything. Be with a person. And stop the mind from thinking so much about what you want, and just be there with the person and be loving. Not have any opinions, not have any expectations, not put the person down, but to just be there for a person. And I'm not saying be a people pleaser. I'm just saying be present enough to openly make people feel good. And just be present. and stop the thoughts in the mind about what you want so much. Because most of the time they're just earthly possessions and desires, and they don't mean anything. Not in the long run. We're always chasing things, and then one day we wake up and we realize what we were chasing was making us miserable. And the only way to true fulfillment is to just be here and realize that you're not your person. You're just connected to all things. And the more you could eliminate the self, the closer you are to be connected to all those things. And the more you could be love and openness. With a clear mind that's not in thought, but just exists with everything around you. And in that space that you could give love and be here with everything. And the self disappears. All the wanting disappears. And the true self emerges without clinging to worldly possessions or wanting or being afraid of things, but just existing in this moment, feeling the energy of life, connected to all things. And in that space, it doesn't matter if you're loving, you're just here. It's not forced. It's weird. Love is not forced. Nothing is forced. Sleep scared the crap out of me. It's like, oh my. Have a good day, everybody.